Hello guys, we are gonna give you a guide for the bosses in Mythic Plus, going over the mechanics and also showing you them at the same time. Alright guys, the first dungeon we're going to go over is the DawnBreaker. The DawnBreaker has 3 bosses. There's like ships and stuff. It's pretty cool or whatever. So the first boss is a lady. She's on a ship. And she's like a dark magician, like Yu-Gi-Oh. And the one thing she does is she puts like a dot, like a nasty little dot on people, and you have to either heal it or dispel it. Probably dispel one, heal one. And then something else she does is she'll choose range players. I think she prios range players, and she basically beams you and puts a big dark circle around you. And you want to place those. So there's a ship actually. This is the ship. There you go, this is the ship. And you want to place those at the edge as much as you can as a range, so you want to stand like as far as you can kind of thing. So the dark circles land over there. And then she also does a beam, and in the first phase, she'll do the beam 3 times, so it'll be like on her body in 3 different directions. And the beams will come out like this. And then they'll rotate. I think it's random if it's clockwise or counterclockwise. And they'll rotate. You just got to avoid that. Then at 50% of the boss's health, she'll phase. And there'll be a big swirling bubble of death that basically surrounds the entire ship. And what you do is you get on your mount and you fly to safety over here in the air. And then you fly around until the bubble breaks in like 4 or 5 seconds. It's a cast. And then you can fly back in. Okay, and the bubble's gone now. You can fly back in, and then it rinses and repeats. But in phase 2, there's actually 4 beams. There's four beams that go around, so you have to dodge that. And then at 0%, she also does the blow-up thing, but you can actually pre-go to the next spot after that. The next boss after that one, let me hit a little backspace here. All right, the next boss after that one is the second boss. He's like a big spider dude. To get to him, you're going to have to clear the church. This is a church with like a church thing on top. This is a church. In the church, there's a little mini boss that you got to kill over here. You know, nothing too special. Just kill the mini boss. And then you go to the house. There's a nice house over here that someone's living in. They're freaking out for help. And then this one's actually kind of hard. It's like a little mini boss that's like right here with a couple ads. The ads are kind of dangerous. They do like beams and stuff. So, you know, don't be in front of them and don't stand in the beam. She does a lot of damage. And then there's a third boss by like a couple more buildings. The buildings actually look like this. Actually look like that. And you want to land actually, you know, I didn't give me enough space. You want to land kind of in the back of the building where that gray dot is, because this is like a bridge. And then there's a 3-pack and another mini boss. With this mini boss, she sends out an orb. Funny story, guys, about trash is trash usually gives you the mechanics of the boss. That's usually what trash does. So this little mini boss right here, who's standing right here, actually it gets an orb on a player. A dark orb. It targets a player with a dark orb, and if this orb crashes into a building, it'll do big damage. So what you want to do is you want to aim the orb so it goes into nowhere, and make sure it doesn't hit anything. Now for the actual boss, it's like a big spider. And the boss has a couple mechanics. He has the orb thing that I just explained, where he'll summon an orb. A big orb. It'll be like a pretty long cast at a player, and that player needs to make sure this orb just goes down the road. Basically, he spawns on a road. Basically, goes down the road. If it hits a wall, it'll do a lot of damage, and it'll probably wipe the group. He also does an AOE, a big AOE around him that mainly just got to move out. He also does a big tank dam. And he also will spawn ads on a player. It'll spawn a bunch of ads on a player that you AoE down. He also does every like 40 seconds or something, it feels like, he does like a big AoE where you just use a defensive. So yeah, that's it. It's just big AoE, spawns ads, a big AoE around him, and the orb. All right. Now, for the last boss, you actually fly back up to the DawnBreaker, right? This is the DawnBreaker here. This is the DawnBreaker ship. And there's a big, big spider thing, like gargoyle thing, squid gargoyle thing that latches onto the ship. It's very scary. What this guy does is he'll give someone a debuff. It's a green debuff that'll show like, it'll show like that, or it'll show like that. Either way, it'll have like a... It'll show where it's going to continue. It starts off that player and it continues a certain way, whether it be north or south. That player just needs to go to the correct side where it doesn't go over the rest of the group. So if you have one going south, you want to go to the south side. If you have one going north, you go to the north side. He also does a frontal like AoE little thing that just does damage, just circles like that. You just got to avoid them. And he does just a in general AoE that does a lot of damage that you want to use the defensive for. And he also does, he also has barrels on the ship, and this is how you kill him in phase 1. He drops a couple barrels on the ship, and you want to bring those barrels and you want to blow them up with the barrels, or the boss will take a really long time and you probably will wipe. And that's phase 1 of the boss. After phase 1 of the boss, there's actually a cheeky little play you could do. So this is the DawnBreaker right here. This is the DawnBreaker. This is where he just flew off. So he flies off. And there's actually a place that we'll show you is where you fight the boss. It's like over here, basically. And you're supposed to follow the boss like around a bunch. And then he ends up over there. But what you can actually do is you can just swiftly fly over to the spot and just wait at the spot for him to do his RP. Min-max, no big deal. I'm actually like, no big deal. And anyway, so when he lands there, it looks like this. It's like a little platform, and there's Spider-Man right here. That's Spider-Man. And what he does is pretty much the same thing. He does the green thing still. It marks a player and does a green thing either left or right now. And you want to go to whatever side you have it on so it doesn't fuck the whole group. And then he also puts a debuff on players that's like a big web that'll go off in like a couple minutes or a couple seconds, sorry. And how these webs actually get cleansed is by the green thing, which is pretty cool. So you want to place the webs ideally on the same side. 2 people get them at a time. You want to place them ideally on the same side. And then ideally when you get a good wave, you want to put the wave here. And it'll actually cleanse the webs with the poison. And he also does the random like AoE in front of him. There's like 2 little line AoE things you just avoid. And that's it. That's all you need to know about DawnBreaker. Hurrah!